She says, yeah, what are you up to? I said, let's go out to Yellow Springs. I felt like the Lord told me to wear a big button saying need hugs and see how many people that we encounter going to Yellow Springs just to hug and see what God does. She goes, okay, I'm up for it. We'll go. Where they sold these wrought iron trees. I went up and we bought one, and I walked up to pay the lady the money, and she looked at the button. She goes, I really could use a hug today. And I thought, that's interesting. You could really use a hug? She goes, yeah. I said, well, what's going on? She goes, it's just been really, really tough. And so it's a lady. There's a table here, so we're pretty safe. I said, that's my wife. And she goes, that's my husband. I said, hey. And so I felt like what the Lord spoke to me. He says, hug this lady until love flows. And so I said, okay. I said, well, let's hug. And so anyway, I reached over the table and grabbed her. And I'm a non-hugger, by the way, just let you know, up until this point, I'm a total non-hugger. So I'm up there and I'm hugging her. And then I just felt like the Lord said, just hug her now and let my peace flow. And so consciously I said, Lord, let your peace flow. And as soon as I said, let your peace flow, she began to cry. And I just hugged her. And then I let her go. And she told me, she says, I really needed that today because there's so much going wrong in my life. And I just thank you for taking a risk to come here at Yellow Springs to wear a button and to hug me. Well, kindness every day. The last tip is love does. Love does. Love is patient and love is kind. And love is an action word. And I even believe in the midst of this crisis that we can all learn just to love a little bit better. To put ourselves out there on the line a little bit in the area of risk that we did was basically what God gave us to do was to deliver furniture to people who lost everything. And they needed that. They needed the action step of what love does. It's very easy to say I love you. It's another thing to show it in a practical way and to mean it in your heart. I pray for everyone listening today that they would be the hands and feet of Jesus. That, Lord, the messenger is the message. That, Lord, that they would be a friendly, open-hearted person wherever they go. And, Father, they'd remember that love does. And so, Father, I ask you to bless these tips and practices as they begin to practice being aware, noticing, Father, stepping out, listening. To God, that they would grow. They would grow in love. They would grow in care. Lord, they grow in encounter with you. They would hear your voice like never before during this time. And the God, that they would radically respond to the prompts that you put into their hearts.